Giants putting another pounding on the Astros here tonight as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Let's take a look at what's on tap with the Astros, brought to you by Budweiser, and that tap's running dry. That's it, folks. Wade Miller, Woody Williams on Friday. Old TBA against Dustin Hermanson on Saturday, and Shane Reynolds against Darryl Kyle if need be on Sunday. And I guess the Astros will look for a pitcher on Saturday, and it could be any and everybody.
Yeah, at this point, with the days growing short, you're right. Russ Ortiz now takes the mound for the bottom of the fifth inning with a big 6-run ball, 6-0 Giants. Tony Eusebio, who just came in the double switch, leads it off. Line drive right field, a hit in front of Dunston. And Eusebio is instant offense.
Well, he's always hit well against Ortiz, and he continues it here tonight.
Eusebio was at 247 before that swing of the bat. Tony is on. Pitcher spot now 8th. Ricky Stone in that position in the order. So the Astros, with the double switch, had a hitter, and they didn't have to pinch hit for the pitcher, leading off the home fifth. That'll save the move for later on. Craig Biggio's 2 for 2, 2 singles to right field.
Tony's now 4 for 8 against Ortiz.
Giants set up for a double play with Aurelia and Kent. A strike one from Ortiz. Ortiz might throw more fastballs now with the big lead. He's thrown a high percentage of breaking pitches so far tonight. Atlanta continues to lead the Phillies 4-1, bottom of the fifth inning in Atlanta for John Burkett. Duckworth the starter for the Phillies. This one gets away from Santiago. Eusebio takes second. A wild pitch by Ortiz, his 8th of the year.
Yeah, he'll throw that pitch down there a lot, and Santiago has to bail him out a lot of times on this curveball. It doesn't quite get all the way there. Now Ortiz, they might have to keep an eye on. He's pitching with a day less rest, isn't he?
Check when his last start was to figure that out. It was Saturday. 2 balls and a strike. No, he's had 4 days.
They had Estes listed.
Yeah, they just switched him in the rotation because it didn't make sense for Estes, a left-hander, to pitch against the Astros here. The Astros with a very good record against lefties. And Estes has had some ankle problems anyway, so it gives him an extra day. 3 balls and a strike. Now this might be a little troublesome to Dave Righetti here, falling behind Biggio with a big 6-0 lead. Ortiz, though, has been a horse this year with 216 innings pitched already this season. That's a high strike call. It's 3-2 now on Bidge. Well, the Giants had to be a little stunned when the Astros swept them at Pac Bell, and now they could be on their way to evening the season series. And if they would meet in a 1-game playoff in San Francisco, it would be very interesting to try to figure out who's the favorite, because they both played well in the other's park. Line drive left center field, coming over Bonds on the run. He makes the play. 1 out.
Well, another pretty well hit ball by the Astros, but the Giants are making the plays tonight. They really look like a much more confident team out there in what they're doing. They're getting key hits. They're making good plays when they have to. Getting good pitching. They're just excelling in all facets of the game right now in this series. It was just the other way around, as you mentioned, in San Francisco.
Julio Lugo popped up to third. He put down a sac bunt. Ortiz spoiled that strategy for the Astros in the 3rd inning after giving up hits to the first 2 batters. After the Lugo bunt, he struck out Bagwell and got BERKMAN. A good play by the pitcher. Ball cracked to center field. Bernard waiting. That's 2 outs. Jeff Bagwell will be next.
Who was it? Wee Willie Keeler hit him where they ain't?
Yeah. These Giants are close enough to get there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Calvin Maduro has the lead for Baltimore. 3-1 over Boston in the last of the 6th inning. Just guessing that father and son, Tim Raines Sr. and Jr. are in that lineup. We know Sr. is after the trade. He was traded for a player to be named later for Montreal. What do you want to bet he's the player to be named later after the season that he goes back to Montreal? Bagwell with a long drive to center. Bernard way back. Up the hill. It's off that hill. Eusebio scores. Bagwell was stopped with an RBI double. It's 6-1. 40th double for Bagwell. That's his 128th run batted in, and the Astros hit the scoreboard for the first time.
Well, if Bernard had caught this ball, everybody may have gone home. Astros have been hitting it pretty hard tonight. They just haven't been able to find an open spot. Bernard goes up that hill, but that ball was hit about as deep as you can hit it without it going into Ruggles Restaurant.
40 doubles for Bagwell. Now it's Lance Berkman. He's 0 for 2. There's ball 1 to Lance. Lance hit the ball sharply up the middle, but Ortiz stopped it. It knocked his glove off, and he threw him out from his knees back in the 3rd. Bagwell had 48 doubles in '96. This is the 3rd year in which he's had 40 or more. 2 balls, no strikes. Craig Biggio with a club record of 56, being threatened by Berkman, who has 53. Dave Rigetti goes out to the mound.
Well, he's thrown 82 pitches, Bill, and he's been all over the place. I think Rigetti just trying to settle him down here, reminding him again that he has a 5-run lead.
New York Yankees are at Tampa Bay. It's 3-1 Tampa Bay. Bottom of the 6th inning there. Orlando Hernandez started that game for New York. There's some concern about him for the postseason. Concern that he is not healthy. Nick Bierbrot, the pitcher for Tampa Bay. Cox and Huff have gone deep. Ortiz misses, and it's ball 3. Now, this is not something you want to see if you're Dave Rigetti.
No, that's why he went out there. He said, now you've got that 5-run lead, throw strikes. These guys have been hitting it right to one of your fielders, so let them go to work.
In the dirt.
And the only way the Astros get back in this game is for him to create base runners and then somebody hit one.
He just created another one with his 3rd walk. And now Moises Alou, who got one of those walks after lining out the 2nd in the 1st inning, comes around for the 3rd time. 6-1 ball game. Vinny Castilla's on deck. Oakland and Anaheim have a later start for Mark Mulder, who's a 20-game winner, and Ramon Ortiz. Texas plays at Seattle later tonight. It's Aaron Mayette for the Rangers against Brett Tomko as the Mariners get their rotation lined up for the playoffs. And they're concerned about their shortstop, Carlos Guillen. He's had surgery for that tuberculosis. Ball 1 to Alou. Ryan Boehringer, who worked last night, gets ready. Brad Penny of Florida beat Montreal today 6-2. He's 10-10. Masato Yoshii, the loser, goes to 4-7. Lee Stevens hit his 25th homer for the Expos. And Orlando Cabrera, number 14, he's closing in on a 100 RBI year. Ground ball foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cardinals 10-3 win at Milwaukee. Matt Morris went to 22-8, beating Jimmy Haynes. Mark McGwire drove in 5. He and Eli Marrero homered. as did Richie Sexson. Sexson with 44 for the Brewers. Cubs defeated Cincinnati 2-0. Todd Van Poppel got that win with a save from Kyle Farnsworth. Jose Acevedo was the loser, and Todd Hundley hit a 2-run homer, his 12th. Two balls and a strike. Alou's averaged .375 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. In the Arizona 5-4 win over Colorado, Brian Anderson notched that victory in relief of Bobby Witt. Kim with the save is 19th, and Denny Nagel lost it. Todd Helton hit his 48th for the Rockies. Reggie Sanders his 33rd for the Diamondbacks. Alou lets it go, and it's 3-1. What do you think, Bill?
Ortiz is doing everything he can to get the Astros back into this game. If they just come up with a key hit.
Bagwell at second, Berkman at first, 2 outs. And it's ball 4. Loading the bases, the 4th walk for Ortiz.
That's a patient job by Alou. I know people would like to see him swing at some of those borderline pitches, but you've got to trust your teammates in this situation that they will pick you up if you don't swing at a bad pitch and you get on base. Well, he did what he was supposed to do, and now Castilla took Bernard back to what, the 404 sign back there in center field, and this crowd has not given up. They're on their feet here.
Vinny Castilla with a strikeout and that deep drive Bill just mentioned. Gets his 3rd shot at Ortiz tonight. Castilla came into this game with a .357 career average against Russ Ortiz. Bagwell at 3rd, Berkman 2nd, Alou 1st, 2 outs. Little chop to shortstop. Aurelia takes it to 2nd for the force out, and that ends it in the 5th inning. The Astros settle for 1 run on 2 hits, and they leave 3 after 5. It's 6-1 Giants. Here at Enron Field, we've had big crowds for this entire series. 43,548 Tuesday night, 43,630 last night. Another sellout tonight for the regular season finale here. A concert coming up after the game. Fans got into it when the Astros scored a run in the 5th and then threatened. But Russ Ortiz got the key out. Benny Castilla bouncing into a force play to end that bases loaded threat. Now Ricky Stone, who came in the last inning, works to Ramon Martinez. It's going to be Pedro Feliz pinch hitting for Martinez, who evidently is having some problems with that left elbow. So Feliz takes over as the pinch hitter and the 3rd baseman. And there's strike 1 to Feliz. Feliz a .228 hitter for 215 at bats, has 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. Had a good month of July. He looks at the slider for ball 1. Feliz has been a good pinch hitter, 4 for 12, 2 runs batted in. He's worked into the picture more and more in the second half of the season at 3rd base. He goes wildly for that pitch, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Astros saw Feliz in the series in San Francisco. He started one of those games, going 0 for 4. He's from the Dominican Republic, 23 years old. Last year, good numbers at Fresno, 33 homers, 105 runs batted in. 2-2 for Ricky Stone. Ricky's 26. First time around through the majors, signing as a free agent with the Astros last January after the Dodgers had drafted him in '94 in the 4th round. 3 balls and 2 strikes. You like what you have seen from Ricky Stone so far, Bill?
Well, he encourages to hit him, and he gets a lot of ground balls. And for a relief pitcher, that's not bad. There's a fly ball, of course, as soon as I say it.
That's Berkman back. It's out number 1.
You want want to dress like Jeff Bagwell or Moises Alou, drop by the official Astros team store, The Shed, located inside Union Station. You'll find anything Astros at The Shed: team jerseys, jackets, Astros caps, pins, women's clothing line, Junction Jack. Oh, you want to dress like Junction Jack, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And even gifts for toddlers. So call 1-800-ASTROS-4.
There's strike one. How would you like to show up at the breakfast table looking like Junction Jack?
Probably wouldn't get.
You wouldn't get pancakes, would you?
No, you wouldn't get what you wanted.
No balls and 2 strikes. Russ Ortiz struck out looking, put down a sac bunt, and that figured into the 4-run 5th inning for the Giants. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Astros bullpen, carrying an increasing load in recent days, was hit pretty hard last night. Line drive to left. That'll loop in for a hit in front of Darryl Ward. Russ Ortiz gets his 13th hit. Livan Hernandez has 24 base hits and a .304 average to lead the Giant pitching staff.
Stone's been a little up at the strike zone on the last couple of hitters, and there's Livan Hernandez. Boy, they eat up those innings, don't they?
They really do. Hernandez will get the start on Saturday against James Baldwin of the Dodgers. There's the bunt, foul by Marvin Bernard. Bernard, with a single in the 5th inning, came around to score. He's 1 for 3. Speedy player from Nicaragua. He scored 102 runs last year. Checked in for this game at 260, and that's his highest batting average. He struggled this season. There's a high drive up the right field line. Looks like a home run near the foul pole. And it is a 2-run shot for Marvin Bernard. Number 15 of the year. The Giants take an 8-1 lead.
Man, did you see him go down and golf that ball?
Yes, he did. 15 homers, 43 runs batted in for Marvin Bernard as Ortiz scores ahead of him.
Boy, the Astros have caught him a hot team right now, and the Giants, everybody on that lineup. Look at that pitch was down in the strike zone, caught a little bit of the plate. Looked like a pretty good sinker that was going down and away, and he just reached down and golfed it right off the pole.
No doubt about the distance on it, and it did stay fair, obviously. Rich Aurelia looks at ball 1 high. Aurelia delivered an RBI single in the 5th inning and scored as the Giants put a crooked number on the board. Now they're looking to do an even bigger number here in the 6th inning. 2 runs home with 1 out and an 8-1 lead. That's foul back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Aurelia 1 for 3 in this game. Ron Vallone in 1/3 of an inning. See, he went 2/3 of an inning. No, he went 1/3.
That's
Gave
right.
up 1 hit and no runs with 1 walk and no strikeouts. Ricky Stone came in to get Santiago on the force play. 2 balls and a strike. Giants waltzed right into Enron Field last year and won all 6 games. Line drive left field into the corner. Darryl Ward coming over. Here's the turn for second by Aurelia. And the throw in on a hop, not in time to get him. A double for Aurelia, his 37th of the year.
Bill, he should have stayed at first base.
Yeah, because Bonds is next.
I know Aurelia, they're trying to win baseball games, but if I'm Aurelia, I stay at first so Bonds can hit.
Bonds has walked twice in this game. He's 0 for 1. Grounded out in the 3rd. And here's the intentional walk. Greeted by a loud chorus of boos here at Enron Field. It's the 8th time in the 3-game series Bonds has drawn a walk.
Well, they ought to be booing Aurelia. He could have stayed at first base and this wouldn't have happened.
Bonds has been walked intentionally 34 times. We talked about the fact that his on-base average is better than 500, 510 when this game started. Only 4 men in the last 100 years have had an on-base average of better than 500. Guys like Hornsby, Ruth, Williams, and Mantle. Now Jeff Kent. Strike one to Kent. Kent with a 2-run homer, 1 for 3, and 3 runs batted in. A shot. Biggio with a good play. Shovels to Lugo, and the relay to Bagwell completes the double play. The intentional walk works as the Astros turn 2 from 6 to 4 to 3. The Giants get 2 in the 6th inning on 3 hits. They leave a man. San Francisco leads 8-1.
Giants lead it as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Coming up tonight at 10, it's the Southwest Sports Report. We'll have a recap from our game, including locker room reaction. Darryl Royal and Barry Switzer get together to talk about some old times at the Red River Shootout, and the Spurs open up their camp. So catch the Southwest Sports Report tonight at 10 right here on Fox Sports Net.
We go to Greg Lucas. Greg.
Now, Robin Barrow, our first base cameraman down here, noted that on the double by Rich Aurelia after the inning was over, he went over and said something with Barry Bonds, possibly apologizing for going for a double to set up the walk. And Barry said, "No, you did the right thing. I just and understood that you're supposed to be rooting for the home team here, folks." That's getting a little disgusting to this particular reporter.
Well, it's been very interesting to see that reaction as Bonds is in left field and Darryl Ward takes strike one. Ward 0 for 2 in this game. Fans seem to want the Astros to win and Bonds to set the home run record. There's a drive, center field. Bernard way back onto the hill. He turns and makes a very good catch.
Well, the problem I had, Brownie, was that with this last walk, there is absolutely no baseball strategy in the world that says you don't walk the hitter, no matter who it is.
No.
That's right.
In that situation, and to have that many people so unaware or uncaring doesn't say much for the knowledge of some of the people that are here tonight.
Well, don't you think for an event like this one, there are many fans who may not see too many games?
Well, I think that's exactly right.
Another well hit ball by the Astros. It just the Giants have been well positioned. They've made a lot of great plays tonight. They've flashed the leather as well as gotten hits.
Jose Vizcaino is the pinch hitter for Ricky Stone. The Astros have bullpen action going as Vizcaino takes ball 1 up. A 140 pinch hitter with 14 strikeouts and 43 at bats, but overall 277, 1 homer and 14 driven in. Ground ball. Jeff Kent to his right. And the low throw to Galarraga takes care of the second out. And Larry Dierker, of course, well aware. And he was asked after the game last night in his media session, did you hear the fan yelling at you? He said, well, I have my hearing aid. I can't hear everything. But he said, well, you know, that's fine. They can express their opinion however they want to. We're trying to win games here. And then he said, you know, I love the fans, but if I manage for them, I'm going to be one of them soon. Tony EUSEBIO, the batter.
He's really, if you look at the 3 games where the moves he's made just haven't been executed. There's a second hit for EUSEBIO. So he's now 5 for 9 against Ortiz.
Yeah, good man to bring off the bench, and he's come off the bench to go 2 for 2 in this game.
You know, really, you can make all the moves in the world, but if the players don't execute, then you know, it's obvious that it's not working, and so that's really been the difference in this series. It seems like every move Dusty has made, if it's a pinch hitter, the guy gets a hit. If it's a relief pitcher, he gets a strikeout or a ground out. And on the other hand, the Astros haven't executed. The Giants have.
Craig Biggio has 2 of Houston's 6 hits, 5 singles and a Jeff Bagwell double. Ricky Stone went an inning and a third. He gave up 3 hits and 2 runs with 1 walk and no strikeouts. Astros will use pitcher number 4. Could be Scott Linebrink. Hard to tell from here. Yes, it is Scott. And it's ball 1. Julio Lugo on deck as the Astros look for a lot of offense here in the late innings. Last night they put together a furious late bid with 5 runs in the 9th on 6 hits.
Yeah, and again too, a lot of fans, Greg, will probably say, well, if it were 2-1 or 3-1, 4-1, I can see why you'd do that. But if it's 8-1, let Bonds hit. But you go back to last night's game, the Astros ended up scoring 8 runs.
Yeah, you can't give up.
So you can't give up.
No.
You have to play baseball the way it's supposed to be played.
Biggio fouls it back. You never give up on a game in a pennant race like this late in the season. Now, you might in July certainly, or August, depending on the situation, but not at this stage. 2 balls and a strike. And it's got to be tough on Bonds too, because there are all these expectations. His family's here, the commissioner's here, and certainly he wants to do it in the worst way.
Again, I say if Aurelia would have stopped it first, we wouldn't be talking about it.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
If the Giants want to give up, I mean, if the Giants were thinking about the home run chase, Aurelia would have stopped it first. But they're trying to win a game, so he went to second.
And Bonds, to his credit, is taking these walks, trying to help his team win.
That's a good point on both parts. Aurelia, they're trying to win the game. That's the object. The Astros walk Bonds because that's the strategy. Simple as that. Game's not over. Using the old cliche until you know when. Well, and using Yogi's cliche, it's not over till it's over. But 9th inning, 3 outs.
But actually, with all these walks to Bonds, the Astros are doing what most teams would do. And the Giants have delivered with the hitters behind him in this series. There's ball 4 to Biggio. That's the 5th walk for Ortiz.
And don't forget that Bonds has been feared for years. He is one of only 3 players, I believe it's still only 3, that have been walked with the bases loaded.
I think Larry too's looking at the fact that look at all the base runners the Astros have had tonight. Had they been able to get a key hit in a couple of situations, they'd be still right very much in this game, even with the 8 runs they've given up. They've left 8 runners on base.
Yep.
And we're here in the 6th inning, and they got 2 more on.
Julio Lugo 0 for 2, the sac bunt. Jeff Bagwell on deck with 2 outs. It's ball 1. It's just interesting to note the reactions of people. The way things have gone for the Astros recently, they're going to know who their friends are by Sunday, aren't they?
That's right.
That bandwagon is getting fairly light right now.
Yeah, it's real light. There's nothing in it.
Tires are looking very well inflated on the bandwagon with all the people jumping off.
Well, let me tell you, they'll jump right back on with a win in a key situation.
You know, the thing is too, guys, that the Giants are going to have to keep winning all their games. I mean, they're going to have to win their last 3. They're going to have to win this game, finish it off, and win all 3 against the Dodgers to still maybe hold off the Astros if they could just win a game or so.
Well, that's the way it looks, because Arizona will be playing Milwaukee this weekend.
If they come back and defeat the Dodgers 3 times in a row, they deserve to have Russ Hodges back calling the last pitch. It's going to be one of the great comebacks of all time.
Yes, it is. Very frustrating for them. If the Giants win this one, this will be 17 straight days that they've done whatever the Diamondbacks have done when they both played. Popped up toward the girders up there, and somehow it doesn't hit one, but the umpire gets in the way of Jeff Kent, and they play a little dance routine. Kent dodges around Mike Winters to catch the pop-up, and that's the 6th inning. No runs a hit, 2 stranded again for the Astros. They've now left 10, and here's Kent and Mike Winters. A little piggyback ride. It's 8-1 Giants.
Welcome back to Enron Field. It's 8-1 Giants as we go to the top of the 7th inning. This week it's a triple hitter on College Football Saturday, presented by Kyocera. First, USC takes on 11th ranked Washington in a Pac-10 battle, and then Iowa State tries to break Nebraska's 17-game home winning streak. And then it's Heisman hopeful Joey Harrington. He'll lead 7th ranked Oregon into Arizona for a Pac-10 showdown, and it all begins at 2:30 right here on Fox Sports Net.
Jose Vizcaino stays in to play shortstop. Vizcaino in the number 8 spot, and the new pitcher Scott Linebrink will go into the number 2 position in the batting order. Leo Lugo 0 for 3 with a sacrifice, leaving the game. Linebrink just gave up some runs last night for the first time. Did not retire a batter, giving up 1 hit and a couple of runs, and he's pitched 8 1/3 major league innings. A lot of time in New Orleans for Scott this year. The former Giant gets a shot at Andres Galarraga, leading it off here in the 7th. Galarraga's been on all 3 times. Left elbow contusion for Ramon Martinez. He's listed as day-to-day after being hit by the pitch and leaving the game. Stone in 1 1/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs with a walk, no strikeouts. Linebrink, pitcher number 4 for Houston. Check swing foul makes it 1-1. The Astros used 7 pitchers last night. Club record is 8.
The Astros set a new record for pitchers used this season, didn't they? With
25
pitchers.
1 ball and 2 strikes, and that is the reason given most often for why they haven't been able to finish the deal and win the division. Just a pitching staff decimated by these injuries. Although they really haven't hit very well in recent weeks. There's a strikeout.
Yeah, that's right, Bill. They haven't hit well, but if you still had Astacio or say Roy Oswalt, one of those 2 guys pitching tonight, you might be able to still have the Giants at 2 or 3 or 4 runs and still be very much in the game, and that's the difference in having an ace out there. But you still have to hit.
Sean Dunston hit in the 5th inning, a 2-run single. Giants scored 4 in the 5th. They lead it by 7 now. Linebrink misses with ball 1. Scott, one of many young pitchers who have come to the Astros the last year or 2 from the fertile minor league system, ranked number 1 by Baseball Weekly. Tony Pena just got some honors. He was minor league manager of the year, voted by the Sporting News. J.J. Cannon of Lexington, minor league manager of the year, Baseball Weekly. Line drive foul. So there have been a lot of honors handed out to that Astros minor league system here in the last few days. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, Jackie Moore was last year's minor league manager of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Round Rock.
Yeah, they've had 2 very, very good seasons. They outdrew the Montreal Expos this year.
So that's Pena and Jackie Moore, and so that just more honors for that farm system, and got some good-looking young kids ready to come up in spring training next year too.
Absolutely, Bill. That's going to be a very exciting time, and they've done well under the pressure cooker. Youngsters like Oswalt and Redding and many more that you've seen come to the big leagues this year.
Hernandez,
Jerry Hunter. Slight tear in his rotator cuff. Tony Eusebio over, and a foul pop is out of play for him. Remember, he took that tumble down into the dugout
last year, yeah,
and had to have surgery on that shoulder. That was a rough injury near the end of the season. There's Carlos Hernandez. The Astros have a little rookie hazing, as just about every team does, and that happened on the way back from Chicago. They took all the young players' clothes, and they had to wear the Hooters girls' outfits on the airplane back. They looked absolutely dashing. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
not what I thought.
We were waiting on the runway for the bus to pull up out at the airport. It was a perfect time to have a few snapshots of that group, and they willingly posed, Greg.
And that was a family trip too, so there were women on the flight and everything else.
It was perfect. All the women got to see him. Line drive left. Wow. Just a part of being a rookie. But Greg, remember when Chan Ho Park took umbrage?
Yeah.
because the Dodgers apparently took it a step further. They didn't just take his clothes and replace them with the clothes that they required him to wear on the flight. They cut up his suit that was homemade by his mother, and he went into a rage.
Yeah, that's going a little far. The Astros don't do that. They just take your clothes and you have no idea where they are.
I'd like to cut up some of those Calvin Murphy suits.
Hey, there's something new you can start.
Yeah.
Chop to shortstop is Caino with the throw to a stretching Bagwell in time for the second out. Speaking of Calvin, you're ready to swing back into action with him soon.
Yeah, our first game on Fox, believe it or not, will be next Wednesday night, as the Rockets will be in Albuquerque to take on Phoenix. Preseason play starting for the Rockets, who are in Austin right now working out. And we'll get old Murph off the golf course and bring him out of semi-retirement.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
BENITO Santiago 0 for 3.
Well, we got Calvin Murphy coming, one Murphy going back to work, and then Murphy Brown will be heading the other way.
He'll take up that tee time when Calvin leaves it open.
That's right.
Phillies are trying to play catch up, but Atlanta leads Philadelphia 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning in Atlanta. If the Braves win, their lead goes to 3 games over the Phils. Strike call. It's 0-2. It's been down to this final week here for all the National League races, and the weekend could be most interesting. It's 2 games separating Arizona and San Francisco. If the Giants win, if they win, Houston would fall 1 behind St. Louis. Ground ball, Castilla. Then he makes the throw for a 1-2-3 7th inning for Scott.
Here we go, bottom of the 7th inning. The Giants with the lead, and we want to remind you about the Enron Field tours. It's your chance to see what's behind the scenes at Enron Field. You'll get to go to the dugout all the way up to the broadcast booth, and teachers, be sure to ask about our Learning Center upcoming workshops. Call 713-259-TOUR.
Changes for the San Francisco Giants. They lead 8-1. Calvin Murray checks into the game as the center fielder. That pushes Marvin Bernard over to right field. Sean Dunston coming out after a 1-for-4 night with a couple of runs batted in. Bernard moving to right, and the new pitcher is Brian Boehringer. Boehringer worked last night. 1 quick inning. Didn't give up a hit. Jeff Bagwell greets him with a fly ball left center field, dropping. Looks like extra bases off the glove of Murray. Bagwell into second with his 2nd consecutive double of the night and 41st of the season. Plus Ortiz in 6 innings allowed 6 hits, 1 run. Here's the Bagwell hit.
Boehringer right over the middle of the plate. That's something the Giants haven't done much of. They've done a great job starting pitching as well as relief pitching. They've hit their spots in this series. They've been awfully tough to hit, but Wayne Gomes was throwing it right over the middle of the plate last night, and the Astros were hitting him hard. So if Boehringer makes mistakes, maybe you can get back in this.
0-3 his record. 4 home runs allowed, 31 in the 3rd innings. Ortiz 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run allowed, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Lance Berkman is 0 for 2 with a walk. Moises Alou on deck in an 8-1 game. That's to center field for Murray. Bagwell draws the throw but holds on at second on out number 1. 105 pitches for Russ Ortiz tonight in his 6 innings of work. And he's in line for win number 17 of the season. Boehringer, a 31-year-old veteran who began his career in the White Sox organization, traded to the Yankees in '94. Then he moved along in the expansion draft to Tampa Bay. Padres picked him up in '97, where last year he was 0-3 with a 5.74 ERA. And the Giants obtained him in a trade July 4th of this year for Bobby Estalella and Joe Smith, native of St. Louis, who went to UNLV.
Boehringer is one of those guys you pick up because it seems like every time you pick him up, your team goes to the playoffs.
Yeah. Strike 1 to Moises Alou. He's walked twice. good luck charms. Not that they don't do well, but some players just seem to fall into that. There's a base hit to left field. Bagwell takes a look at Barry Bonds. He'll stop at third. And Alou gets his first hit of the night. First and third, one out for Benny Castilla.
Well, Astros have had base runners just about every inning. Every inning except the second. But the difference in the Astros, they get the hits early in the inning. Giants get them late. But all you can do is just keep going.
10 men left for the Astros. They've now tied the Giants in hits with 8. Double play depth on the infield as Castilla bats for the 4th time, hitless so far. This one rolls to the left of the third. Sacker. Here's a quick throw, and then the relay to first as the run scores in the dirt. Benny Castilla will pick up an RBI, number 82 of the year, as Pedro Feliz got the force out on Alou for the second out.
There's Feliz coming way over to make the play. Makes a good throw right there. And I didn't get to see the slide, but I would have bet that Alou had something to do with taking him out on that play. Let's look at it from that angle. There's Alou. Yeah, good job of disrupting the back end of the double play.
That makes it 8-2. Bowringer faces Darryl Ward. Ward 0 for 3. Strike one on the fastball from Brian Bowringer. Quick work last night helps him get back on the mound tonight with a little fresher arm perhaps than if he had labored in that game, and he might not have been available for Dusty Baker. For these relievers coming down to the final weekend, they need to be available. Fly ball center field. Murray. And in the 7th inning, the Astros get a run on 2 hits. They leave a man. They've stranded 11. Moving to the 8th, it's 8-2 Giants. At Enron Field, where the Astros are playing their final regular season game of the year, it's 8-2 Giants. The Giants are trying for a sweep of this series. They come up in the 8th inning against Scott Linebrink. Linebrink had a 1-2-3 7th. Pedro Feliz is the batter. He fly to center in the 6th inning in his first at bat of the game. Feliz goes for the fastball, pops it up behind home plate, and out of play for strike one. The Astros have gone with Malicki, Vallone, Stone, and Linebrink tonight. And the Giants had a 2-run first inning on a Jeff Kent homer. They got 4 in the 5th, 2 more in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike. So again, they've had the Astros pitching staff laboring as they did last night. And the Giants scored 11 runs on 15 hits. Line drive out into left center for a hit. Looks like extra bases, rolling all the way to the warning track. Berkman drops the ball, and it's going to be a double for Pedro Feliz.
And a good job by Berkman to keep him at a double. I thought that was a triple at first, but he was able to slide and stop that ball.
Feliz picks up double number 9 of the year. There's the swing.
Here's the play right here. If that gets to the wall, it's an easy triple for Feliz, but kept him at second. Still hustling.
On deck. Bonds will get at least 1 more plate appearance if he stays in this ball game. It would be tough to take him out if you were Dusty Baker.
Oh yeah.
Any part of a game from now on out through the rest of the season.
Everybody was joking that big 9th inning last night. They had taken him out of that game. The Astros had a tying run on deck.
Was he hit? He was hit by the pitch, but if he had been ruled to bunt at it, as he was apparently by Alfonso Marquez, yeah, he's not hit by the pitch. It's a strike.
If you bunt, I think he foul tipped it into himself, is what Marquez is saying.
Well, if he bunted at it and it hit him, it's a strike. So That's Marquez making the call here. Dusty Baker's not buying it. Dusty cannot believe this call from Alfonso Marquez. See if we can make a call right here of our own.
All right, Murray squares around. And if did he pull the bat back?
Yeah, it looked like he did.
Yeah.
He was trying not to bunt. Let's see.
And
it hit him. But Marquez called it a bunt try. So it's strike two. A painful strike two for Calvin Murray. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brink walked a couple of men last night. Then he gave up a double to Benito Santiago. Working to a .245 hitter in Calvin Murray, who has a lot of speed. He covers center field well. Grounds it foul. Better defensively than Marvin Bernard. But Murray has not been a potent major league hitter to this point of his career. Now the Giants have a decision to make on Barry Bonds, who is headed for free agency. What a free agency that could be this fall. What will they do for an outfielder? Fly ball right field. Alou chased back for the grab. Here's the tag, and Feliz goes over to third on out number 1. So they've shut down contract talks some time ago. Let's see where it goes.
What's he going to get?
No idea, Bill. It's probably fair to say that the New York Yankees and New York Mets will come knocking, and the money could be very high, especially if he gets the home run record this season.
Of course, he could want to stay in San Francisco for less money.
Marvin Bernard with the infield in is 2 for that high in dollars. It shouldn't be that outrageous to stay where a player is comfortable and feels he has a chance to win.
The name Bonds is part of Giants history.
Yeah, it really is.
A big part.
2 balls, no strikes. So if, let's say for the sake of argument, the Giants went to the World Series and won it, would that change his bargaining stance? Who knows? It might. Says he just wants to win. But if they, we'll say, fall short of playoff status and the money San Francisco offers is not competitive with the Yankees and the Mets, he'd rather go where he has an excellent chance to be a World Series winner. Well, that's anyone's guess right now. Probably yes. Just guessing. Have to wait and see.
A-Rod left a pretty good team.
Yeah, he did. Fly ball left field. Near the line. Ward watching it slice, and slice foul.
You know, this is the 9th season for Bonds in San Francisco. He played only 7 in Pittsburgh, so he's now played more with the Giants. And of course, his daddy was the hero there, coming in after Willie Mays.
And Willie Mays, his godfather, gave him some advice when he hit his 500th homer. He said, keep your bats for posterity. I want to look at them someday and enjoy their presence. So he's been keeping the bat after each home run.
I walked around all day today hoping I'd run into Willie Mays, my favorite player when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they had Mays, Mantle, and Duke Snyder, all 3 center fielders in New York during that special time of the 50s. But Mays was always my favorite because he could do everything.
Yes. Fly ball left. Ward, as the runner tags at third, makes the catch. He'll score easily on a sac fly for Bernard. And the Giants make it 9-2 with Bernard's 3rd RBI of the game. He had that left field hack going. He hit the ball just barely foul, and this time hit it fair and got it deep enough for the sac fly. Bernard now has 44 runs batted in, and it's a 7-run lead for the Giants with Feliz scoring. 2 outs in the inning, and Rich Aurelia bats. Aurelia's had a big night, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored.
If I remember correctly, Larry Dierker's first game was against the Giants. was 18 years old. It was at Colt Stadium. And I think the first or second pitch, I think Jim Ray Hart might have been leading off. I'm not sure, but he threw it halfway up the screen, and Willie said, "The heck with this." And I think he took 3 or 4 pitches and sat down. Mays decided. I think he decided the young rookie was a little too wild.
2 balls, no strikes. Bonds, of course, has had a rough time hitting the Dodgers this year, so this weekend will bring a lot of interest to that series. Foul back. Apparently he has signed and numbered all of his home run bats. According to his agent Scott Boras, endorsement deals for a cereal and a theme park already are in place pending home run number 71, according to the Sports Illustrated article out today. So there's a lot on the line financially, obviously, for Barry Bonds. Foul back.
You know, did you notice too in that article they had a picture of him in his Pittsburgh uniform in his early years, and then in his Giants uniform now, how he has bulked up over the years. And of course, a lot of players do get bigger, but really a noticeable difference in Barry.
With all the muscle.
Not with muscle.
And not that quickly.
Hey, speak for yourself.
I'm not talking about Mickey Lolich.
Greg's been in the weight room now. Take it easy on him. Well, Bonds apparently weighs about 228 pounds right now.
And it is muscle. I want to tell you, when he did that interview the other day, he was wearing a T-shirt in that interview room. Man alive. Looked like a linebacker.
2 balls, 2 strikes. It's 3-2.
By the way, you mentioned the theme park. Apparently, it's one of those that the Mouse started. They have a camera crew here.
Yeah.
It would be one of those. Hey, I've hit 71 home runs, and I'm going, you know where. Well, he isn't going to do it here.
No. I don't think he'll see a pitch to hit next time up, and maybe they'll have a furious rally. Well, they could bat around in the inning, but probably not. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So if he doesn't hit one tonight, he goes home. 3 games left, or maybe an additional 4th game if there's that 1-game wild card playoff, or perhaps they tie Arizona for the division. Who knows? Might get an extra game in the regular season to hit 2 more. Popped up foul. Bagwell and Eusebio. Eusebio couldn't locate it. Now he's over, and he makes a good recovery. And that means Barry Bonds is left in the on-deck circle.
And who's he going to face in the ninth?
We'll find out as it's 9-2 San Francisco. Here at Enron Field, it is 9-2. The Giants lead. They've had 2 home runs, but none in this series by Barry Bonds. Bonds has walked 3 times tonight. He's 0 for 1. Brian Boehringer in the bottom of the 8th inning deals ball 1 to Jose Vizcaino. Tony Eusebio on deck. Craig Biggio due up 3rd. Then the pitcher's spot would follow. And the Astros have rookie left-hander Wilfredo Rodriguez warming up in the bullpen. He might get the 9th, and he might face Barry Bonds in a moment. Rodriguez warming up now. There. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boehringer's in his 2nd inning. Vizcaino fouls it, and it's 1-2. Nice to have some veterans who have been there, and the Astros have many of them to try to pull out of a slide at the end of the season, which could be a 6-game losing streak, could be 8 out of 9 unless they pull out of this nosedive and win this ball game tonight. Going into St. Louis tomorrow night. Vizcaino, one of those guys who's been there through tough times. Ground ball to shortstop. Aurelia, 1 out.
Let's take a look at tonight's Next Tell You Make the Call replay. This comes back in the 2nd inning, and Darryl Ward hits one right off the end of the bat, and he loses it for a minute. And watch it goes straight left, but Ramon Martinez does an excellent job of staying with it, barehands it, and gets Ward at first base. The Giants have flashed the leather when they've needed it here tonight.
They've played inspired baseball in this series. Tony Eusebio's 2 for 2 off the bench tonight. There's strike 1 to Tony with Craig Biggio on deck. 9-2 Giants. Giants need a win to stay 2 behind Arizona. That pitch up and in is ball 1. Yep, 1 ball, 1 strike. Atlanta's batting in the bottom of the 8th inning with a 6-2 lead over the Phillies. EUSEBIO fouls it back. So the Braves, it appears, are pulling out of their problems just in time at the end of the year, Bill.
Well, I know one thing. Brian Jordan is.
Yeah.
Isn't he a great clutch hitter, though?
He hit another home run tonight.
Did he? Well, when the games when there are big games to be played. In fact, when the Mets were charging hard, Jordan denied him in 2 separate games.
Ground ball shortstop Aurelia again. 2 outs. Boehringer working his 2nd inning. Might give Rob Nen the night off. The Giants, of course, will be playing at home tomorrow night. That final big push coming over the weekend. They'll want to have arrested Rob Nen. Dodgers lost 6-3 to the Padres. Trevor Hoffman got another save for San Diego. And the Dodgers, as they go into San Francisco, will be 7 games behind Arizona with a respectable 84-75 record, but with the ability to spoil the weekend entirely for their longtime rival, San Francisco Giants. Ball 1. Steve Parsay in the game in the late stages for Atlanta with a 6-2 lead over the Phillies. Did you see the item today that John Smoltz is wanted back for next year as the closer by the general manager John Schuerholz in Atlanta?
Well, he's done a good job.
He really has.
So he's a good guy. He's worked hard to get back. Heck of an athlete. You know, Smoltz is a scratch golfer too.
Well, they have to sign him back to fill out that foursome with
That's right.
Maddox and Glavine.
I know
Those guys. Here's ball 4. Biggio takes his 2nd walk. He's been on base 4 times tonight, but he has not scored a run. The Astros have been held to 8 hits. 2 of them doubles by Jeff Bagwell. Now we get the pinch hitter for Scott Linebrink, Richard Hidalgo. That'll mean Wilfredo Rodriguez pitching to Barry Bonds, opening the 9th inning. Richard has not had much pinch hitting practice this year, as you see. Just 0 for 2. Jeff Bagwell on deck. Fastball, strike 1. Richard didn't start this game. Ortiz on the mound. Richard 1 for 10 against Ortiz in his career. He did have a hit against Ortiz in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago when Ortiz allowed just 3 singles. And Ortiz once again tonight kept the ball in the park very nicely. 1 ball, 1 strike. He survived 5 walks in 6 innings, and he can be 17-9 in a few minutes. Bonds, Kent, and Galarraga due up in the 9th. 43,734 that paid attendance tonight. Breaking ball makes it 2-1. Strike on the outside edge. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Richard Hidalgo. If the Astros lose this game, they will finish with a home record of 43-37. Not great, but much better than last year.
And the Giants, if they hang on, will be 9-0 at in-run fee.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They go with Sean Estes tomorrow night. They're back home. They would have to be thinking, you would guess, about running the table in that series, Bill. Even if the Giants win this, they're still a couple of games behind the Astros for the wild card spot.
Well, the Astros have put themselves right behind the 8 ball. It's going to be very difficult, but heck, you know, they've hit the ball well tonight, so it looks like they're out of their hitting doldrums. They just haven't had a key hit. They've hit the ball hard, And it looks like if they can swing those bats like that in St. Louis, they could take 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals.
There's a strikeout for Boehringer. That ends the 8th inning. And Barry Bonds is coming up in a moment against the rookie Wilfredo Rodriguez. It's 9-2 Giants.
And he got the last out of the inning. And the Giants kept a 2-0 lead. That could have tied the game, that base hit. That's tonight's Pennzoil protection play.
Wilfredo Rodriguez is making his 2nd major league appearance. He made that first appearance quite some time ago on Friday, September 21st, and those are the numbers. He gave up a 3-run homer to Fred McGriff against the Chicago Cubs in a 12-4 loss.
What must be going through this young guy's mind right now? I'm pitching to Barry Bonds. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Round Rock.
22 years old, Rodriguez, native of Bolivar, Venezuela, faces Barry Bonds, who's 0 for 1 with 3 walks in this game. They strike 1, and Bonds can pretty well figure he's going to be challenged with a 9-2 ball game.
95 miles an hour. Here it is. Come and get it.
The shift is on. Rodriguez was recalled September 15th from Round Rock. 1 ball, 1 strike. He was 5-9 in the Texas League with a 4.78 ERA in 42 appearances, 10 as a starter. He had 56 walks in 92 innings and 94 strikeouts. Bonds with a drive. Looks like number 70 for Barry Bonds, and it is, tying the all-time record set in 1998 by Mark McGwire. Barry Bonds hits home run number 70 at Enron Field. He's now homered in every National League park this year.
There's his son Nikolai greeting him at home plate.
Dusty Baker with the embrace for Barry Bonds, who now breaks that tie on the all-time home run list. He moves ahead of Reggie Jackson.
I'll tell you something else. Number 70 wasn't a cheap one. Oh, man. Hit that about 400 feet. Who's got the ball, Bill? Well, the policemen have him. They're taking him out right now.
564 career home runs, 7th on the all-time list. Next up, Harmon Killebrew. Mark McGwire hit home run number 70 in the Cardinals' 163rd game. And Barry Bonds comes out for the acknowledgement of this sellout crowd at Enron Field, which has waited, many of them through 3 ball games, for this historic home run. That makes it 10-2, and Bonds, who had walked 3 times earlier and grounded out, goes deep.
Well, he'd thrown a fastball by him, but he wasn't going to throw another one by him. And Bonds knew immediately that that was out of here. One of the happiest tours around the bases for Barry Bonds. Look at that giant dugout. They know it. Number 70. Watch the flash bulbs go off now, folks. Boom. And a lot of people got a picture of history in the making right there. And that fan was sitting, what, about 3? There he is, 3 rows deep.
Brandishing the ball high as the Giant teammates celebrate.
I don't know if I'd have held that ball up. I'd have been off and running.
It is specially marked. And what is it worth? Well, that ties the record.
Yeah. The next one's going to be worth a little more.
An emotional time last Saturday when he homered in memory of a longtime friend.
And Wilfredo Rodriguez goes in the history books.
Second major league appearance. And now he's there as the pitcher who gave up number 70 to Barry Bonds. He has plenty of company.
Yes, he does.
Kurt Schilling gave up 3 to Bonds this year. And Jason Middlebrook of the Padres allowed 3. Jeff Kent, the batter, he homered in the first inning after a Bonds walk. And there's ball 1. Kent's driven in 3 more runs tonight to give him 103. 10 hits for the Giants tonight. 3 of them have left the park. Ground ball, Vinny Castilla. 1 out. The Giants with 3 home runs now have hit 231 this season. And the Astros have allowed 218.
Couldn't sneak that cheese by the mouse, could they? He was trying to throw that 95-mile-per-hour fastball again, and this time Bonds said,
So in this series, he has broken a major league record for walks in a season by Babe Ruth, and he's tied the all-time standard for home runs in one season.
That really makes it an unbelievable season, doesn't it? That puts this season in another orbit.
Strike to Galarraga. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bonds now close to 400 total bases for the season.
Give me that slugging percentage again, will you?
Well, he started the night at .843. That's close to the all-time record set by Babe Ruth, and he might be there now.
Wow, .843. Looks like every time I look at it, it looks like a misprint.
He shatters the National League record. Broken bat, fly ball, right center field. Galarraga has a hit, and he is going for second. Here's the throw from Lance Berkman. It's a double. Galarraga's second of the night. His 11th double of the season as a Giant. Let's see the very quick swing of Bonds and how he can wait so long and pull the trigger. Enormous strength.
Yeah. Look at that arc. Very quick swing, but he gets all of it through the strike zone.
He started the year in 17th place. And he's moved into 7th on the all-time home run list.
His slugging percentage, Phil Boudreau says now at .848.
Babe Ruth's all-time record is .847.
You know, you just realize, though, the guy has 151 hits, 70 homers, but the 172 base on balls puts him on base 172 more times. So, you know, when you look at his total at bats of 466, Aurelia's been to the plate 618 times.
Ball, 1 strike.
Just amazing.
Rogers Hornsby had the National League slugging percentage record of .756. Bonds has shattered that by almost 100 points. And Boehringer, pitcher, with a count of 1-2. Bonds has been averaging a home run about every 6.7 at bats. McGwire averaged 1 for about every 7.3. Two and 2 to Boehringer. His on-base average would be higher than anybody since 1957. Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle had on-base averages over 500 that year.
And I guess, Bill, we ought to, for some of our fans who may be just watching Bonds, who aren't really familiar with baseball, when we talk about slugging percentage, we're talking about dividing the total of all hits by the total times at bats. And that's total bases.
So in other words, that would be on average more than 0.8 of a base for every at bat.
Yeah.
That's pretty staggering.
That is, isn't it?
And a .600 slugging percentage is considered very good these days. 2 outs now. Benito Santiago, the batter. Santiago 0 for 4. Big night for the Giants. They came to Enron Field, and one loss in any of these 3 games would have eliminated them from wild card. Fly ball to center field. Now they get the Bonds record tying homer, and it appears they will head back for the city by the bay with life. They lead it 10-2 going to the bottom of the 9th. .37-year-old Barry Bonds, a nice gesture. Took his position in left field, and now he comes out of the game. More applause from this Enron Field crowd. Dante Powell in the game in left field as Bonds was greeted by members of the Giants bullpen. They were trapped out there in left center field. They hadn't had a chance to give him congratulations, and they had a chance to do that as he took up his position in left field, Bill.
I think that's why Dusty Baker let him go out to his position so the bullpen could come out and congratulate him, and they did. And then Powell takes his position, and now Bonds will go to the dressing room where Willie Mays is waiting. How about that?
Yeah.
Huh? Godfather is waiting. He is the Godfather. He's the man, Willie Mays.
Jeff Bagwell has 2 doubles and a walk. He's 2 for 3 in this game. Towering foul ball comes back as Brian Boehringer tries for one of those 3-inning saves, finishing a game with the final 3 innings no matter what the score. We'll get the pitcher a save. It's 10-2. He has a lot of working room, and he'll save the others in the bullpen for tomorrow night. That's the biggest save for Brian Boehringer if he can get these final 3 outs. Bagwell fouls it back 0-2. When Bonds turned 30, and he's 37 now, there had been only 3 50 home run seasons in his lifetime. One by his godfather Willie Mays, and the others by George Foster and Cecil Fielder. There have been 14 50 homer seasons in the last 7 years now.
You know, Brownie, it's a little similar to Hank Aaron in that he wasn't really a big home run hitter in his career. He just stayed around. His longevity was good, and he hit more home runs later in his career than he did early.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Bonds hit 4 homers last year at Enron Field in 6 games. He hit 438. There was much anticipation that he would hit at least 1 in this series, and fans had to wait until the 9th inning of the 3rd game until he delivered. Bagwell strikes out.
Boehringer just broke something. Something popped, or either the sandpaper fell down the back of his pants.
Lance Berkman 0 for 3 with a walk. It's going to be a long flight to St. Louis for the Astros.
Well, it really is, because boy, you know, talk about rubbing it in. Not only do they sweep you, but Bonds hits number 70. And this has been a tough pill to swallow.
Bonds finished 2nd in the MVP voting last year to his teammate Jeff Kent. He's won 3 MVP awards, and this year probably number 4 comes his way, Bill.
Oh, wow. I don't know who else you could give it to.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Although, I don't want to say poor Sammy Sosa, but how about Sosa with a 3rd season of 60-plus homers, and he's not going to win a home run crown.
Yeah. Pedro Feliz gets Berkman 2 outs. Way back when, they named the MVP before the start of the World Series. Now, of course, it's after the series, but a Washington shortstop named Roger Peckinpah was named the AL MVP before the start of the 1925 World Series, and he went on to commit a series record 8 errors, and so they agreed that after that there would not be MVP announcements before the World Series. Moises Alou has been on 3 times, 2 walks and a single. And now the question would be, if Barry Bonds gets to the postseason, can he put that skeleton to rest in the closet about not hitting well in the postseason?
Well, he hasn't, and he admits it. But you know, the home runs don't always correlate into winning championships.
No, not always.
think, in fact, I saw the other day where Luis Gonzalez has the higher percentage of home runs that win games for his team. Bonds is second right behind him on that list. But it doesn't always mean that your team wins more when you hit more home runs.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bonds with 70 homers, 46 have either given the Giants the lead, tied the game, extended a 1-run lead, and brought the club to within 1 of the lead. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you'd said to these fans, well, it won't have any impact on the game. Yes, they want to see a Bonds home run. That's why many of them came. Ground ball slowly hit. Pedro Feliz charging, throwing, and making it a 1-2-3 ninth. Brian Boehringer closing it out, and the Giants sweeping this 3-game series. They go back to San Francisco with an 89-70 record, 2 games behind the front-running Arizona Diamondbacks. They've won 8 of 10. The Astros now have a 6-game losing streak. They've lost 8 of 9. Their record 91-68, and for the first time in a while, they trail by 1 game. It's August 17th, the last time they were 1 game behind, and this time it's the St. Louis Cardinals in first. The first time since late May. Nikolai Bonds enjoying the performance of his father as the Giants win at 10-2, and Barry Bonds hits one of 3 giant long balls, getting number 70 of the season. And that'll mean Russ Ortiz, a 17-9 record, goes back home with his Giant teammates. And Dave Malicki takes the loss. His record as an Astro goes to 7-3. I want to thank everybody involved with the telecast tonight. It's been a great season here on Fox. For Bill Worrell, Greg Lucas, and our entire production team, Bill Brown saying so long from Enron Field. Our final score tonight, San Francisco 10 and Houston 2. The next televised Astros game is tomorrow night from St. Louis. It's the Astros and the Cardinals at 7 o'clock. That game can be seen on the Astros television network. Coming up next, we go to the Southwest Sports Report.